Today's story is The Twin Kittens and the Ice Cream Disaster. One sunny afternoon, the twin kittens, Joshua and Buckle, found themselves lounging on the porch of their cozy home. The sun was shining brightly, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. The two kittens were feeling especially adventurous, their big eyes sparkling with mischief. "I'm bored," Joshua sighed, stretching his legs and flicking his tail. "There must be something fun we can do." Buckle, always full of ideas, suddenly perked up. "I've got it," he exclaimed. "Let's make ice cream." Joshua's ears twitched with excitement. Ice cream? That's a brilliant idea. But do we know how to make ice cream? Buckle grinned, his blue eyes twinkling. How hard can it be? We just need some milk, sugar, and whatever else goes into ice cream. We'll figure it out as we go. With that, the two kittens dashed into the kitchen, ready to embark on their latest adventure. They found a big bowl, a spoon, and all the ingredients they could think of: milk, sugar, eggs, and even some berries they found in the fridge. Joshua carefully poured the milk into the bowl, while Buckle added a generous amount of sugar. "It has to be sweet," Buckle said with a giggle. They cracked a few eggs into the mixture, although they weren't quite sure if eggs were supposed to go in ice cream. "But better safe than sorry," Buckle declared. They stirred and stirred, the mixture sloshing around in the bowl, but as they mixed, they realized they had forgotten one important thing: ice. "How do we freeze it?" Joshua wondered. Buckle thought for a moment. "We'll just put it in the freezer, of course. But let's add these berries first. They'll make the ice cream even better." They dumped the berries into the bowl, splashing the mixture all over the counter. Laughing, they placed the bowl in the freezer and waited eagerly. "This is going to be the best ice cream ever," Buckle exclaimed. As they waited, Joshua and Buckle couldn't resist peeking into the freezer every few minutes. But each time they checked, the ice cream was still a soupy mess. "Why isn't it freezing?" Joshua asked, his whiskers drooping with impatience. "I don't know," Buckle replied. "Maybe we need to add more ice." Determined to make their ice cream a success, they grabbed a bag of ice cubes from the freezer and dumped it directly into the bowl. But instead of freezing, the mixture began to overflow, spilling out of the bowl and onto the freezer shelves. "Oh no," Joshua cried. "It's everywhere." Buckle tried to scoop the mixture back into the bowl, but it was too late. The freezer was now a sticky, goopy mess. "I think we've made a big mistake," Buckle admitted, his ears flattening with guilt. Just then, Mrs. Whiskers walked into the kitchen. She gasped at the sight of the two kittens, covered in sticky ice cream mix, with the freezer dripping all over the floor. "Joshua, Buckle, what have you done?" she asked, trying to hide a smile. Joshua's tail drooped as he explained. "We wanted to make ice cream, but we didn't know how. And now, it's a disaster." Mrs. Whiskers chuckled softly. "Oh, my silly kittens, making ice cream is not as easy as it looks. But don't worry, I'll show you how it's done. First, let's clean up this mess." Together, they cleaned up the kitchen, wiping down the sticky surfaces and mopping up the spilled mixture. With Mrs. Whiskers' guidance, the twins learned how to properly mix the ingredients and use an ice cream maker to churn the ice cream. After some time, they finally had a batch of delicious, creamy ice cream. They scooped it into bowls and added their favorite toppings: sprinkles, chocolate syrup, and of course, more berries. As they sat on the porch enjoying their homemade ice cream, Joshua smiled at Buckle. "This is the best ice cream ever," he said, his brown eyes shining with delight. Buckle nodded, licking his lips. "And we couldn't have done it without Mrs. Whiskers." Mrs. Whiskers smiled warmly at the two kittens. "Remember, It's okay to make mistakes as long as you're willing to learn from them. Sometimes the sweetest success comes from a little trial and error. Joshua and Buckle agreed, their hearts full of happiness. They had learned that trying new things could be messy, but it was all part of the fun. And with a little help and a lot of love, they could turn any disaster into a delicious adventure. From that day on, the twins became known as the best little ice cream makers in the forest, already ready to whip up a new flavor with a side of laughter and a sprinkle of fun. That was the Twin Kittens and the Ice Cream Disaster. Thanks for listening to Super Bedtime Stories. We hope you enjoyed your listen tonight. Please make sure to like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this book, feel free to click on one of the videos on the screen for another good, heartwarming family fun story. We strive to provide good moral bedtime stories that parents know are safe for their little ones that also have a good lesson. See you soon.